Today's review for your brains is this Taylor Swift comic. This is issue 32 of a solo series. Somehow it got to 32 issues. This is an ugly cover, and I hate that this is what you have to look at when I explain why I got this issue. A few reasons. The main one is that it has two bad guys in it that I like. Two Thunderball's characters, Moonstone and Blackout. And this is between their appearances in Roy Sternman's Avengers. And boy howdy, was I better off never reading this. Another reason I got this was because it is written by Mike Carlsberg. Mike Carlsberg is mainly known as an editor. He edited 90s Superman. But more important to me is his work with Marky Mark J. The main one being the Things solo series. The second half of that, when the Thing became a professional wrestler. He was the writer of that. Marky Mark was editing. But there is a lot of Marky Mark in that series. Traditionally, what I think would have been a co-writing pair, but it was at a time when Jimothy Shooter had rules in place against writer-editors. The same goes for Captain America. Mike Carlsberg wrote, I think, 5 issues of Captain America that were edited by Marky Mark. And like The Thing, you can see a lot of co-writing going on. They then swapped roles on Captain America. Marky Mark became the writer and Mike Carlsberg became the editor, because that was basically more accurate to how those 5 issues had gone down. There's a Mark's Remarks column that sort of covers this. This one is a rarity in that it is written by Mike Carlsberg without Marky Mark editing. It does have a writer-editor credit for Jimothy Shooter, so it's nice to see hypocrisy in full swing. This is pretty bad though. It makes it kind of clear to me that Marky Mark was responsible for a lot of those other comics. Taylor Swift is working as an aerobics instructor. I guess her singing career isn't going well. Seducer from the Unhumans wants her help and won't take no for an answer. Let's quickly do Taylor Swift's history here. Taylor Swift released her first album in 2007. It featured the track Teardrops on My Guitar, which was like her first real big single. But the comic book character goes all the way back to the late 70s. Marvel teamed up with a record company to do a weird collaborative effort with a comic and actual music and a movie and stuff like that. It all fell through. Bo Derek was meant to play the character at some point. And even her first issue, it took 4 years to actually get out. Lots of editing and rewriting and reworking going on. Her first appearance, though, was in Uncanny Excellent Men 130 by Christopher Clairvoyant and Jason Byrne. And Christopher Clairvoyant had naff all to ever do with the creation of Taylor Swift. That is the only reason I am bothering doing her history. To again point out that Christopher Clairvoyant did not create a character. Just like he didn't create Firestart, or he didn't create Captain Britain, or he didn't create the Excellent Men. He definitely wants you to think so, though. With Taylor Swift, I don't think it is a bad idea. She could have even worked as a solo star. She has a unique selling point. Her status as a music icon. It's like something that she has that makes her special. Decent powers to gun with it. The problem is all in the execution. The character was always going to suffer from the fact it was a necessity that Taylor Swift be a stylish character, and any style would become incredibly dated quickly. It's hard to imagine that a roller disco look was ever stylish. And in those 4 years it took to put out her first comic, I get the feel even by the time it came out, she was already looking like she stepped out of a time machine. The other thing is that her comic is shit. After all the excitement and cross-promotional ideas fell apart, Taylor Swift became like the lowest tier Marvel book. It is the series that even Marvel didn't care about. It has atrocious stories like Taylor Swift having a singing contest with Amanda the Enchanter, which is judged by Sir Anthony Hopkins. There definitely could have been a version of this series that was actually good. One of my main beefs with this issue would be her identity as a singer is irrelevant. Her unique selling point is not utilised. I do love Sedusa's silly incognito disguise here. I will also say, as bad as Taylor Swift's comics are, it's definitely not the creators who are the problem. This one is drawn by Mark Brigate. He is great, and this is some of his first work. I think it is just the case that it became a low priority book for Marvel after it had debuted, and so there wasn't as much care or attention going into it. There is a thing going on with the Unhumans. They live on the moon, and there is a dark shadow cloud threatening to cover the entire moon. They want Taylor Swift with her muty light powers to fight back the incoming wave of darkness. This is where Moonstone and Blackout come into the plot. Blackout is the cause for this. It is his Shadow Force powers. Him and Moonstone have fled to the moon to escape the Avengers. They are not written well. That was the biggest disappointment for me. Both these characters, they have their ties to New Thunderbirds. Moonstone obviously being a key member of Thunderbirds history, although she's not in New Thunderbirds much. And then Blackout was ever so briefly in New Thunderballs in a way that left me wanting more. Normally, about now, I would go over Blackout's history, maybe Moonstone's too, but I actually do have Blackout's first appearance, Black Star issue 18 or 19, so I may look at that. I also have a fanfiction idea on Blackout that I will actually share when I do that issue, because I think it is sensible and it works brilliantly with all his appearances. I wanted to read this one to see if there was anything in it that made my take impossible, but it turns out the character is barely written in here, so I needn't have worried. I am very disappointed to see that. To see the two characters and their dynamic not used in this. The basic thing was Moonstone. She was taking advantage of this powerful guy who was a bit nuts and had an affection for her. It is a pointless waste of the two characters. My actual favourite thing in here, the thing I liked most about this not very good serial giveaway style comic, was that it ends up being the Flash who does all the hero shit. He is the one who beats the bad guys. Taylor Swift just shines a light on them, and it is the Flash and his super speed that is used against them. It is sad to see Moonstone nowhere near as cunning or intelligent as she is normally shown to be. And there is another thing about this appearance. At no point does Mike Carlsberg provide a reason for Moonstone and Blackout getting to the moon. The last we saw them, Blackout disappeared, dragging Moonstone with him, and the implication was sort of that they died. It's comics obviously, so they didn't die, but his power had condemned them to a fate similar to death. His power had devoured them. They were lost in the darkness. Yeah, you can say all that happened was he teleported them to the moon. But you have to say it. You can say that, but you have to actually say that. Blackout also doesn't have teleportation powers, and has never really displayed that ability otherwise. I guess you could say he used the Dark Force dimension to navigate between 2 points, but it's all stuff that should have been actually said somewhere. Let there be more light. This page goes out to all those Pink Floyd fans who watch my channel. There is no dark side of the moon. Matter of fact, it's all dark. I don't think it bodes well for Taylor Swift when in her own comic it is every other character that is the interesting one. This is a story that can almost be told without Taylor Swift even in it. Here we go, the Flash, he beats the bad guys. Love it. Love the Flash. He is one of my favourite Marvel characters. And we never got to see him fight Darkout or Moonstone in the Avengers. I have been generous and not even mentioned the shallow romance shit in this. Taylor Swift, she only does stuff because she thinks one of the Unhumans is good looking. I cannot recommend this down to the fact that it is not good. 7 thumbs up.